Hi boys and girls, welcome to the 5th and 6th grade science class. I know this is a little different than what we normally do, but you guys get to come into my home for this one. This is my big YouTube debut. I've never done YouTube before. I've never really recorded a video of myself for this amount of time teaching a lesson. So this is all very new for me. I know that you guys watch a lot of professional YouTubers who are probably really great at what they do. That's not me, but I teach science and I'm your science teacher, so I'm really excited to be able to do this with you guys this week and next week. So real quick, Miss Sylvie had a nasty fall in the shower, got a couple stitches. So if you noticed that, I just wanted to mention it. I'm great, I feel great. It only hurts a little bit. It's getting better all the time, but I did want to mention it in case you were worried, okay? Okay. All is well. We always start class with our vocabulary words. So I'm gonna hold these up for just about 10 seconds, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and pause the program so that you can write down your vocabulary words in your notebook. Remember, these are gonna be on your test. I'm like giving you the answers to 3 test questions. So write these down, and your test is actually gonna be on Tuesday, tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Okay, and one more word, because I told you there was 3. Okay, great job, guys. Let's just talk about these words real quick. This first word that we have is gestation, and it's the time during which a mammal develops inside its mother's body. So the human gestation is 9 months, 40 weeks. But guys, did you know an elephant gestation is 22 months? That's almost 2 years that a mother elephant is pregnant. That is a long time to be carrying around a baby. Okay, down here we have gymnosperm, and these are plants that produce seeds protected by only a cone or a fleshy seed coat. I had the privilege of going to California during spring break, and we got to see what is the largest tree in the world. Now, it's not the tallest tree in the world, it's the largest tree in the world. And I don't know how they figured that out. I don't know if it's the circumference of the trunk or the mass or how they technically say it's the largest tree in the world, but they do. And this tree has a name. Now, I don't personally name my trees. I have 3 trees in my front yard. I don't name them, but they did name this tree, and his name is General Sherman. He's actually mentioned in your book. Let me find that page real quick. It is, I think it's in chapter 6 that it's mentioned. I might just give up, y'all. If you find it, go ahead and put it. Oh, I found it. There's not a picture of him, but there's a little fun fact here on page 143 of your textbook if you guys would like to read about the tree I saw, General Sherman. I actually have a picture of my family looking at him, standing in front of him. This one. Can you get that on the camera okay? Let me come in a little bit. So that's our family, and we're standing in front of General Sherman, the largest tree in the world. And he is a gymnosperm. And I had a friend who said, hey, you're going to California. Can you pick up some seeds for me? He likes to plant things and just see what he can grow. And he's got stuff from all these different trips that he's been on. And I was like, sure. So we got some of General Sherman's babies. I know that sounds creepy, but okay. So here's General Sherman's babies. These are cones. Inside one of these cones is about 200 seeds. And so, and it's actually one of the smaller cones that we saw, y'all. They smell like pine, like almost like a Christmas tree. Isn't that cool? So what I gave him his cones already. What I'm hoping will happen is this will dry and some seeds will come out, and I think I'm actually gonna try to grow them. I have to put them in the refrigerator for like 4 weeks so that they think it's like winter, and then I put them at room temperature, and then I like my baggie technique, like kind of what we've done in class where we put it in the wet paper towel. And I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna see if I can grow some of General Sherman's babies. So that's Miss Sylvie's personal project. We also saw this other tree that they named. It's called, sometimes it's called America's Christmas tree. And this is General Grant. They also named this tree. And he is a giant tree. And that's Ella and John standing there in front of General Grant. And we also took some of his babies. His were a little trickier because he was roped off a little further away. And this is one of his cones here. This is General Grant's baby. And look, if you look, you can see the seed coming out right there. And it looks almost like a little, oh yeah, look, they're coming out right there and there and there. It almost looks like a little piece of oatmeal. And I mean, apparently there's 200. Oh yeah, look, can y'all see them in there? All in the little crevices. That one's gonna be fun. I think I might have some. Now, apparently, we talked about germination. When a seed starts to sprout and grow, apparently only 10% of the seeds germinate. So if you have 200 seeds, how many seeds would that be that would actually turn into plants? I feel like Dora. I feel like I need to blink and stare at the camera, and you're supposed to answer out loud or something like that. I don't know. So that's gonna be only 20 plants that would come from one cone. But a tree produces multiple cones. Now, you do get into crowding issues if you have too many plants, and so not all of them are gonna make it, and then you get your squirrels that come in there and they tear up your pine cones. They eat them, I guess. And so Douglas squirrels were the ones that are around that kind of chew on the cones. So there's all kinds of stuff that can happen to prevent these trees from actually producing more trees. But it was a really amazing. I want just to give you an idea of how big these trees are. This is my daughter with her friend hugging one of the trees. They say that the largest tree would take 20 people hugging the tree all the way around in order to cover the whole tree. And this is John trying to climb the tree. That is about as high as he got because there's not very many low branches for him to grab onto and pull up. What was really neat is the bark was like spongy. You touch it and it just you could kind of push on it. It felt spongy. It was an amazing experience, and I'm really glad that I got to go see this tree. You know, people talk about their bucket lists and things they want to do before they die, and this was something on my bucket list, so I feel very fortunate that I got to go do that. So that is gymnosperms, right? A plant that produces seeds protected by only a cone or a fleshy seed coat. So those are gymnosperms, those big, giant, beautiful trees. And anything with a cone. Christmas trees, pine trees that you have, if there's a cone, it's a gymnosperm. And then we also have angiosperms. And these are plants that have flowers and produce seeds enclosed in a fruit. Okay, anything that produces fruit is an angiosperm. Can you think of a angiosperm? Okay, well, I have one that I'd like to show you since you're at my home. This same friend that wanted pine cones, he has strawberry plants. And you read in your book about how strawberry plants will send shoots. Well, he gave us one of his shoots, and we planted it last year, and we've been, watering it and caring for it. I've mentioned before that Miss Sylvie has a gray-black thumb, and I tend to kill all my plants. But this one, I've been able to keep alive. Very proud of myself with that. So, I would like to take you guys outside to show you my strawberry plant. And so my cameraman, who is Mr. Silly, is going to follow me. I'm going to go this way. Follow me outside to show you my strawberry plant. So it's right here by the back door. You can see the little flowers that are here. There was a flower here and it's gone. Do you think that will be a strawberry? Oh, I hope so. It seems like a lot of waiting and work for one little strawberry, and there's some other growth in there. I'm hoping these all turn into flowers and then all turn into strawberries. I don't know. There's some little black, I don't know if it's a bug or what, but we might have to take a look at that. And then here's this beautiful flower here. And so this will get pollinated. And you guys, we dissected a flower, right? So we talked about the male parts and the female parts. There's some little bug in there. And so once it's fertilized, the ovary down here will turn into our strawberry, in which will produce seeds. And so this is our angiosperm. Oh, here's another one. Look, y'all, I think that one's turning into a strawberry. I'll keep you updated. Now the problem is the birds. If the birds find them, none of us will get strawberries. And this over here is Mr. Sylvie's serrano pepper plant. And look, I think there may have been a flower there, and I think a little pepper is growing. Do you see that, Mr. Sylvie? Is that exciting?
Yep.
Okay, so I think he's gonna be excited to get some peppers off this plant. He loves spicy things. Maybe some of your dads, or maybe you like spicy things too. Okay, back inside. So here we go. We were working on an experiment last week, and we were growing seeds, and we were looking at the germination of these seeds. Remember I said ideally, we'd be able to check them every day, but we had spring break, so it was gonna be 2 weeks, and now it's like, I don't know, if we wait until we get back together again, it might be like a whole month, and these poor seeds and plants will be very sad. So this was the sheet that we used. So go ahead and pull this out. If you need to pause the program to pull this sheet out, it should be behind your lab tab. And it's our seed growing investigation. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. I can't remember which table had which seeds. At this point, I'd probably be like, which ones did you guys have? And y'all would all know because you guys love your seeds and we're very bonded to the seeds that you were growing. But, oh, my son here is pointing that his table had cilantro. See, I knew you guys were bonded. So let's go ahead and look at what has happened. I'll just be honest with you, I have not opened these bags. And so this is a mystery to me too. You guys ready for the great reveal? Let's see what happens. We planted 10 seeds in each one. Mr. Sylvie, could you angle down so they can see? Ooh, look at our cilantro. Okay, so I think this actually, now the dark brown is the seed coat. I think this one is actually 2 plants. Yep, see that seed coat came right off. Okay, so we definitely have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one's just starting to grow. 8, 9, 10. I think we had 11 in here, y'all. Okay, so for this, what we're gonna do, it says number of seeds germinated, I would say 10. And then observation. So go ahead and take a look at them here and write down any observations that you have. Use some descriptive words to and talk about. So look, this one right here, you can say there's 2 leaves that come out. Oh, so maybe this is just 1 over here. I think it's 2. See the 2 little brown parts where they came out of the seed? But it does look like it has 2 leaves as it comes out. Remember we talked about dicots and monocots? This one is a dicot. Okay, so go ahead and write down any observations that you have. Talk about the green and the white parts. You can talk about how the seed coat comes right off, how some of them are still coming out of the seed area. Okay, and now the longest length of roots. And I have a measuring tape somewhere nearby, or a ruler. I know I got it. Here it is. Okay. And for science, we measure in centimeters. Centimeters, science. We use the metric system in science. So the longest root, I almost think it's this guy right here. What do y'all think? Yeah, I think it's that one. So let's go ahead and measure this longest root. And I am measuring here. We're going to put 2.5 centimeters, cm, centimeters, 2.5 centimeters. And then it says longest length of stem. Even though this is the longest root, I feel like maybe this one is the longest stem. This root is kind of embedded in there. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and include the leaves as well. So we're gonna measure that, and we're gonna measure that at 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters. So cilantro is a plant that typically will take over your garden. So it's really good for containers. And then it produces the seeds, which is coriander. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 herb, which is kind of fun to grow. Okay, so that's our cilantro. And next we're gonna go ahead and do summer squash. Don't know which group would have done summer squash. This paper towel is very dry. I think because we probably have had, oh, I'm gonna have to be gentle because these roots are everywhere. Look at this, y'all. Look, that one did not germinate. It looks like it got a little moldy. It did not do so well. Oh, I'm worried I'm gonna be busting these up. Here we go, here we go. I'm just gonna be gentle as possible. I feel like the girls had the the summer squash. Yep, I feel like the girls had the summer squash because I remember talking to the boys about zucchini bread. Okay. So let's see. Wow, look at this root here. Oh, goodness. We have quite a mess here of roots. And y'all, it smells. It smells like vegetables. Look at that root. That is some stuff right there, right? Look at that. I'm going to go ahead and measure that. There we go. So that is 16 centimeters. 16 centimeters. Is that our tallest plant? Or this one might be taller. Probably ideally. I just don't want to rip all these roots. I think I might actually just cut them as best as I can and then put them in the ground with the paper towel. The paper towel will break down in the soil. Okay, let me see here. Let's go with this one. I think this is our longest stem here. And I'm just gonna leave it attached. And including the leaves, we're looking at 6.5 centimeters for our zucchini stem right there. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry, summer squash. This is all summer squash. Summer squash, summer squash, summer squash. Okay, so let me put the summer squash back away and go over to our zucchini. We have quite a tangled mess here as well. Oh, I'm sorry, going back real quick. We wanted to know the number of seeds germinated for summer squash, and we missed that. So let me just do a quick count here. This one didn't make it, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 out of 10. So we just had one that did not germinate, which is way better than what I'm expecting for my sequoias, right? My sequoias, I'm only expecting 10%, so it would only be like 1 seed. So I think I'm gonna have to plant a lot of seeds to be able to get a little baby. Maybe around Christmas time I can actually decorate it and put a couple little mini ornaments or something. I don't know. Okay, so back to our zucchini. What a tangled mess. And look, I think there's one here that didn't make it as well. So let's go ahead and count how many seeds germinated for our zucchini. I think this one may not have made it. Oh, no. There, it's just starting. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 10 germinated. So we have a 90% germination rate for this particular batch. And let's go ahead and find our longest root. So what I'm kind of looking for that is like the thickest one. You guys are able to see this on, oh, y'all, I don't want to bust them up too bad. So maybe I'll just have to look here, kind of trace it along. Maybe that one. This one looks pretty long right here. It goes all the way from here, all the way to there. Maybe that. Okay, let's go and measure this one. This one is, we're gonna say 9.5 centimeters. 9.5 centimeters. And then our tallest zucchini plant, like, isn't that cool how the leaf is like still in the seed coat there? Okay, we'll do this one. I think this one is our longest stem, and it's a little twisty, and so I want to be, let me see, I'm going to gently pull that out. Oh, and then I'm going to just gently pull the little seed coat off. And let's go ahead and measure this as best we can. I'm going to say that's 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters for our zucchini longest stem. Okay. Cool stuff, huh, guys? All right, so I think I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. I have a garden in the back, so I might just plant like a few in the back, and I'll let you know if anything happens. Again, Miss Sylvia has a black thumb. I tend to kill plants, so hopefully we don't have to mourn these seeds that we have lovingly grown. So, okay, and then I went ahead and just did some pepper plants for myself. So these are the results of our pepper. This is for Mr. Sylvie. I can't remember what peppers these are. Do you remember? No. That's Serrano out there. I think this is Cayenne maybe? That sounds right? Cayenne? Okay. Ooh, Mr. Sylvie might have some Cayenne peppers. We have a ways to go from this to that one that you saw out there that might actually produce. But let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds have germinated, which means we have an 80% germination rate. And you can see they're quite a bit smaller than some of the other ones that we've looked at. Maybe similar to what we saw with our cilantro. All right. I'm not going to measure these because these were just for me, for fun. And I figured while I was there, I might as well go ahead and do that. Okay. So on the back of your paper is a chance to graph. Now, it says day of germination. I think it's really set up more for a line. It even says create a line graph. But I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to make a bar graph. And it says the longest length of growth. Let me think here how I want to. I'm looking for a pen. I'm not finding it. I'm going to use this Sharpie. So let's go ahead and change this. And we're going to, I'm just going to have you only graph the one that you did. And so I'm going to X out day of observation. I'm going to X out line, and it's going to be a bar graph. And what we're going to go ahead and do is under one, you're going to write stem, and under the other, you're going to write root, because those are the two measurements that we took. And then look at your centimeters here. And so I think the longest one we had, and look, I didn't write any of these down. I think the longest one we had was 16.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me turn this around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's make each one of these worth 2. So this corner here is 0, because if you don't have any bar graph, you had no growth. This one is going to be, and now I'm writing upside down, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little, 14, 16, 18, 20. I think we can stop there. And so for your stem, and this is longest length of growth, and this is in centimeters, so you can put cm in parentheses like that, so we know what that measurement is. And then go ahead and graph your results. So you would take, I'm gonna just use purple. Again, I didn't write down any of these measurements. So I think we had for our stem, was it 16.5 for one of our stems? So you would come here, you would fill it in for 16.5, use the measurements that you wrote down on your sheet of paper and fill it in a little bit better than that. And then also for whatever your root measurement was, so that you can see your graph on there. And graphing is just a good way to be able to show data. And math and science are best friends, they're BFFs. And so it's really important for you to use the skills that you learn in math, you will definitely use in science. Okay, let's go ahead and answer these questions down here. You can pause the program and answer these questions down here, and then we'll go over them in just a minute, okay? Okay, all right, let's talk about these questions. Was your hypothesis correct? Why or why not? So this is John's, and it says it will sprout but not flower. So his hypothesis was correct, and I would say because enough time did not pass for it to be able to produce a flower, something along those lines. What do you think affected the germination of the seeds? So we had one in each batch that didn't germinate. Why do you think that happened? Maybe you have something along the lines of it got moldy and it didn't grow, or maybe it needs more time, or maybe there was too much moisture. Maybe there wasn't enough moisture. So anything that you might have along those lines. If you were to do this experiment again, what would you change? And I always love asking students this because the scientific method is not a straight line, it's a circle. And so we are always experimenting and growing from the knowledge that we have, and we are creating new tests and new experiments and learning new things. And that's why we've seen so much progression in our technology and our different inventions that we've had over time. So the scientific method is a circle. And so that's kind of why I like to ask this question. So if you were to do this again, what would you change? And when we get into learning about genetics, which I believe is our next chapter, you will learn about a guy who did experiments with pea plants and all the things that he learned from that, which is, I mean, he was really into pea plants, but he learned a lot of cool things. So, all right. So that's that page. That goes behind your lab tab. And moving right along, oh, you don't have to follow the page. Okay, okay. Moving right along, we're gonna go ahead and spend some time dissecting a bean seed and a corn seed. One is a dicot and one is a monocot. Dicot, di means two, dicot has two, monocot has one. So mono means one. Maybe think of like, what is the glass called? Monocle? It's called a monocle, I believe. And I don't know if you've ever seen Cinderella. The Duke has a monocle, right? And the king like busts his monocle, but his eye's fine, unlike Miss Sylvie's. But mono means one, and di means two. So let's go ahead and look at our seeds. And so I have soaked, I did not have a lima bean. You also need this page, these two pages here that I sent in an email. We're gonna start with part one. So it says dissect a seed, dicotyledon seed. And then this other page is dissect a seed, monocotyledon seed, okay? So we'll start with page one. I have a pinto bean. I prefer to do this with a lima bean, but I went to the grocery store and there were no beans, none at all. So I went back to my pantry and I looked, and I was very happy to find that I had some pinto beans. So I soaked some, and I'll show you what I have here. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2. Oh, just right here in this way. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 here. So it says the dry, oh, and I also wanna have the dry version as well. Can you go get the dry version out? It's in a bag. I meant to pull those out and I did not. Okay, so we're gonna start by looking at the dry seed coat. And they're coming, yay, yay, thank you. See, this is my bag of pinto beans, which will be turned into dinner at some point. We like eating beans in our house. We just like it, like normal, like when things are all normal, we like to have beans. I make them in the crock pot with 8 cups of water and a bunch of seasoning, and I let them go on low for a while. Moms, if you're watching and you wanted a quick little recipe. And we do something, we call it monk's dinner. We found it in a story of the world, Middle Ages, and we have cheese and bread and fruit, and every now and then we'll turn off all the lights and eat by candlelight, and it's kind of a fun little quirky thing that our family likes to do. Okay, so here we go. So this is our dry pinto beans here. And it says the dry seed coat looks like this. That's in your first little box that's right here. The dry seed coat looks like this. So go ahead and draw a picture of what you see. And it's this one right here. I would say smooth. It has a little shine to it. That's what the dry one looks like right there. You can pause the program if you would like to spend some more time drawing this out. Okay, the next box says on here, the soaked seed coat looks like this. And so we're looking here, these are the soaked ones, and I just soaked these overnight. And if you look and see, it almost, see how it's wrinkled, it's very thin, it's coming off. You can draw a picture of that right there. If you need a little more time, feel free to pause the program. Okay, and then the seed coat looks like this under a magnifier. That's our next box. And so I have my hand lens here. Move these out of the way. And Mr. Sylvie's gonna work that camera so that you get a good picture of what that looks like under a hand lens. You could also, I don't know, YouTube, I don't think you can zoom, but okay. So that's what it looks like. Okay, all right, thank you. So that's what that looks like there. Okay, all right. So next, number 2 on the page, it says, observe and record. Split your seed in half, use a magnifier or to help you see the details. Look for these parts. We're looking for the embryo, that's the baby plant, the seed coat, which we kind of already seen, and the cotyledon, the food storage. Remember, this is a dicot, so we're gonna see 2 halves for the food storage. And then you're gonna draw a picture of what you see there. I also want you to label the parts, okay? Good science is labeling the parts so that someone can come behind you and see it and understand what it is you were drawing, okay? We have to communicate our scientific information. So I have a knife here. If we were doing this in class, everybody would have their own and you would have plastic knives, but since I'm at home, I'm gonna use my metal knife, okay? It's not scary. Here we go. So I'm gonna gently, I see a little split right there. Do y'all see that split? And so really, I'm not gonna really cut. I'm really just gonna more use the tip of this knife to just kind of slide it open, okay? So there. Oh, all right, the little baby just fell off. There's the baby right there. And so let me do another one. I'm a little concerned because our baby just fell off. If you guys have ever eaten peanuts before, those of you that are not allergic to peanuts, they're also dicots and they split. And there's usually, oh, this one is great. Look, you can see right there. That's the embryo right there. I'm gonna lay this flat so you guys can see it. That's the embryo right there. And then this is our cotyledon. That's our food storage, so the baby can grow. And then on the outside is our seed coat. What's nice about this is our seed coat is brown, so we really can see the difference of it. And it's thin. And look here, you can see it just comes right off. On this other one that I kind of manhandled a little too much, it comes right off. So that's what the seed coat looks like. And then our little baby fell off. He has no chance of growing now because he's cut off from his food supply. Okay, all right, so go ahead and draw a picture of that. If you want, let me pull this a little bit. It wants to like bunch back up because the seed coat is kind of holding it. Try to put this just right. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that. So go ahead and draw a picture of that. If you want to pause the program, I would do this one that's right here. Go ahead and pause the program so that you can do a nice drawing and label it just like it's labeled on the side of your sheet, your different parts of your seed. Okay, go ahead and do that. Okay, moving on, we're gonna work on our monocot, okay? For this, I went ahead and I went to the dollar store looking for corn seeds. And I know I saw them there, but they were all gone. And I was like, oh man. So I went to Cornelius's. It's a new place that's, Cornelius, that's the name of it, right? And it's a new place that's right on Highway 90 and Highway 6. Y'all, that place was so peaceful, so relaxing. All the plants were beautiful and lush. And I was like, I could just spend hours here. My son and I went, John and I went, and we were walking by a plant and I was like, oh, what is that smell? And it was the jasmine. Anyway, I really like that place. And they did not pay me to say that. This video is not sponsored by Cornelius's. Okay, so for this one, John, can you go get my seed packet that's over there on the counter? For this one, I went ahead and went to Cornelius's and I got some corn seeds for our monocot. And so for the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the dry seed coat and we're gonna draw a picture of the dry seed. So John is bringing me my seed packet that I left. See, these are the corn seeds here. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna grow these. I've never grown corn before. I have a feeling you might, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about corn. Do I want to grow corn? I love corn. It's my favorite vegetable, but I've been told it's not a vegetable. It's really a grain. I don't know. So these are the little corn seeds. Look how shriveled they look. They look so sad. I mean, because, you know, we're used to eating corn. We know what they're supposed to look like, but these are all shriveled up. So go ahead and draw a picture of these sad, shriveled up corn seeds that have so much potential for life. Go ahead and draw a picture of them. You can pause the program to do that in that first box. Okay, next we're gonna look at the soaked seed coat. So here are some corn seeds that I soaked. And you can see quite a difference. Look at the difference. I soaked these overnight. That looks like something I would eat, but I bet you shouldn't because it's still kind of hard and rubbery. And that's something that looks like I would chip a tooth on or something. Okay, so there's our corn seed. And go ahead and draw a picture of what you see there. You can pause the program if you need some time to do that. Okay, and now we're gonna look at it under a magnifying glass. I think for this one, we were supposed to be looking at the soaked seed for that. Ooh. Okay, go ahead and draw a picture of that. Pause the program if you need to. Okay. All right, so next what we're gonna do is we're going to split the seed in half. I read that scissors might be best for this. Y'all, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why. I guess I may not have extra. It's okay. I don't need to be nervous, right? Yeah. Can you go get my really sharp? You know what? I'm just going to do it with a knife. So I'm going to go this way. Okay. All right. It looks pretty gooey in there. So where's our embryo? Our embryo is down here, maybe? Did I cut the embryo in half? That's sad. Let me do another one as well. Yeah, look. Okay, this is the embryo right here. This is our cotyledon, our food storage. And of course, this is our seed coat that's along the outside of it. And this one, it's and maybe it's just because corn is really, I feel like it has more sugar. And it just feels really almost sticky, like starchy. Okay, so go ahead and draw a picture of that. Make sure to label the parts that I pointed out. Embryo. Okay, this one has endosperm on it. Cotyledon. Okay. So go ahead and draw a picture of what you see there. Okay. All right. And, oh, I'm sorry, I missed number 3 for both of them. So let's go ahead and do number 3 on both of them. Communicate, write at least 5 observations of the dicot seed and write 5 observations of the monocot seed. And so I'm gonna put them here side by side so that you can see them. This is that one that got away. This is the seed coat that goes with that one. That seed coat just, it wants to stay together. It does not want to split. And then there's this one. And here's a little baby that I cut off. Oh. Okay, so go ahead and write 5 observations for the monocot on the second page and 5 observations for the dicot on the first page. You can pause the program to do that now. Okay, boys and girls, so the next thing that I have is Jeopardy! Now, how are we gonna do that on YouTube? So I sent Jeopardy to your parents in the email, and I'm gonna challenge you to beat the parents. It's gonna be a version of, are you smarter than a 5th or 6th grader? And so I want you to play your parents, or if you have a sibling that takes the class and is there, or if you have an older sibling that you would like to challenge to a game of Jeopardy, please do that. So go ahead and play that Jeopardy at home. It's just a PowerPoint. It's really easy to click through. Now, remember, all of these questions come straight from your test. So do pay attention to all of the questions. This is a way to review for your test that you will be taking on Tuesday, which if you're watching this on Monday, will be tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them below. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for more science from Miss Sylvie's home. Okay, bye guys.